My name is Jennifer Smith. I've been a registered nurse for about 15 years. I never thought I'd live to see the ripe old age of 40, but here I am, and I'm 41 plus a few months, and I'm still here. I was diagnosed at the age of 18 with neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder. It's quite the mouthful. There's only about 4,000 people in the United States who have this rare autoimmune disease, and about 1 million worldwide. The body's immune system attacks its own healthy cells, most commonly in the optic nerves and spinal cord. It can cause temporary or permanent damage. After being a quad for a while, about 9 months later, I went completely blind. I've been fortunate enough to recover most of my sight. My physical abilities come and go. It's a relapsing remitting disorder. I'm one of the unlucky ones. I've been both blind and paralyzed, as I said. I've learned to roll over, to get up on my hands and knees, to crawl, stand, and finally to walk. I'm having fun watching my grandson doing the same thing. It's been a constant journey, falling down and learning to get back up over and over again. And I have learned to be a fighter. I hold a certificate in forensic nursing, and I work as a sexual assault nurse examiner and a deputy coroner in Washington State. I've worked and educated myself strategically, knowing one day I would no longer be able to practice as a bedside nurse. As nurses, we all know the Kubler-Ross theory of grieving, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. Pretty sure I skipped the bargaining and acceptance just about every time now. And although I go through most of this process with each relapse, I've developed coping mechanisms that prevent me from sinking into that big, huge chasm of depression. I allow myself time to grieve over each loss. Some losses take longer to get over than others. Some losses are bigger than others. So the final piece of the puzzle for my coping, how I cope with this, is I've learned to let go. Kind of. I'm still really angry that fatigue has taken half my day away and that I can't work the way I used to. I was a really hard worker. I still am. But I've accepted some of these losses to a certain degree, and I've changed my dreams to reflect today's reality. Don't get me wrong, I don't have this all figured out, not by a long shot. Life with NMO doesn't just affect my working life, but my personal life as well. It's really hard to find a balance between work, family, friends, and my health. I have to ask myself, what's living? Is it pushing myself so hard at work that I end up in a debilitated physical state, or is it staying home mentally and physically wasting away? I know the answer, but I don't always follow my own advice. It's tricky and requires a lot of planning to maintain stamina throughout the day. The moral of the story? Everyone has disabilities as well as traits that they excel at. Some nurses can't start IVs or clean up vomit. I can't do vomit. And some sweat the new electronic charting. My disability is a visible loss of physical function. But I have a gift for analyzing data and looking at the big picture. The point is, we all work together, both on our units and in our lives, to combine our strengths to create the strongest, most confident, and proficient teams we can. Despite having NMO, I've created a successful business that accentuates the positive attributes and skills that I have today. Being both a patient as well as a healthcare professional, I have a unique perspective when it comes to understanding and anticipating patient and nurses' needs. I have turned my disability into a super ability, reining in my strengths and reinventing myself yet again to maintain a productive life.